I heard them before I saw them. The bathroom fan was running, so the apartment sounded like white noise, until Jade's nasal voice cut through it, bouncing off the tile. Okay, timing. I say. If you loved her, you'd prove it. Beth, you start recording right when she brings up the trip. Tessa, you stand by the host. You're the witness. Miranda's voice floated in. My girlfriend, the woman who swore she hated staged anything. Slow down. If he walks, it kills the clip. He won't, Jade snapped. Men don't walk from a public final notice. He'll panic. You'll get the big gesture. Beth chimed in, polite and efficient, like she was scheduling a work meeting. Lines again. Miranda. Miranda sighed, then did the rehearsal. I just can't do this if I'm the only one trying. I need you to show up for me. If that's too much, maybe this isn't it. Jade. And you start to cry right there. Not sobbing, just a couple tears. Tessa angles from the side. Phone low. Beth. And I'll cue Jade when to say it. 3 minutes after you start. We want the arc. I looked at my shaved face in the bathroom mirror and set the towel on the rack. Cold tile under bare feet, toothbrush in hand. I wasn't the emotional type, but hearing your relationship staged like a sales pitch does something to a man. You stop feeling and start inventorying facts. Jade again. He fights for you. You get the trip, the upgrade, maybe a ring. He freezes. You walk, control the story. Easy. Miranda didn't laugh. She whispered, this scares me. Beth's voice turned warm. We got you. Their voices drifted down, then the dryer door thumped shut. I rinsed, folded the towel the way she liked it, opened the door, and walked out like I'd heard nothing. Jade's bare feet were on the ottoman. Beth had her planner open. Tessa examined her nails. Miranda stood by the kitchen island, chin tucked, watching me the way a kid watches a security camera. Morning, I told the room. Coffee's still warm if you want it. Jade smirked. He's being cute. Beth's phone lit up with a reminder. Tessa gave me a tight smile and scooped her tote. I kissed Miranda's cheek. She let me, which told me all I needed. I smelled hairspray and something fake vanilla. She asked, quiet, you good? I'm fine. We have the rooftop tonight, Beth called from the door. 7. Dress nice. Sure, I said. If I'd known where this was headed, I'd have ordered a helmet. They thought I meant the crowd or the music. I meant something else entirely. By noon, the apartment had that hollow echo places get after company leaves. Miranda was at the counter, tapping through her phone. I poured a second coffee and took the stool across from her. She didn't look up. So you're wearing the blue shirt? Probably. You could try something sharper, like a Kevlar vest. Her eyes flicked to mine, then back to the phone. Funny. It's a nice venue. People dress up. I'll be presentable, I told her. And let's clear a few things. We take separate cars. We arrive and leave on our own timelines. I'm not holding a camera. I'm not in anyone else's. And we'll be there 1 hour. Tops. Her thumbs froze. She blinked. What? You heard me. So now you make rules for my friend's event? I'm making rules for myself, I said. 1 hour. Separate cars. No filming me. If phones go up, I go down the elevator. She stared at me like I'd switched languages. You're being weird. I sipped. Or I'm being clear. That sounds controlling. Set a timer if it helps. She pushed the phone away. You're not paying attention, Nate. Lately it feels like I have to drag you into life. And now you're cutting time with my friends? What? Because your friends treat gatherings like a stage and I dislike being used for props, I replied. 1 hour is generous. Separate cars keeps it clean. Her mouth flattened. You're not paying for drinks either, I assume. Correct. So I invite you to my world and you nitpick. I don't nitpick. I set boundaries. She let out a breath, slow. Beth expects a group photo. Beth can expect anything she likes. Do you even care about us? Her voice sharpened. There it was. The tug. I plan. I try. And you sit in your routine, arms folded. I put the cup down, kept my tone level. Care is not measured by how loud I perform in public, Miranda. She flinched at the word public, and that was a tell. She recentered quickly. You're exhausting. Take a nap? I said. She stood, chair legs scraping. I don't have time for this. I have things to do. Me too. She grabbed her bag. If you keep treating my friends like a problem, there won't be a weed. I held her gaze. If my line about cameras is a deal breaker, there already isn't. That landed. She blinked twice, then softened her voice half a note. Can we not fight today? We're not fighting, I said. We're scheduling. She looked at the door, then down. Fine. 1 hour. And separate cars. Sure. No filming me. Not by you. Not by your friends. She rolled her eyes. You're paranoid. But fine. I'll see you at 7, I told her. She left without a kiss, quiet steps, door soft. I finished the coffee, opened my calendar, and crossed off tomorrow's brunch with her friends. I texted Beth, separate check for me tonight. Also, quick heads up, I don't consent to being recorded. If phones come out, I'll exit. No drama. She replied with a thumbs up and a heart, which meant nothing. I packed a gym bag with essentials and set it in the truck. Marcus called as I was locking up. You sound like a guy changing a tire, he said. You lifting iron or a situation? Situation, I said. How bad? Bad enough I'm making a list. Marcus grunted. Bring it by the shop. We'll talk while we cut steel. I drove. At the shop, the air always smells like heat and oil. Marcus hunched over a drill press, sleeves rolled. He's a big man with a laugh like a bark and the patience of a math teacher. Over here, he called. I made coffee that could file a complaint. I set the travel mug aside, grabbed an apron out of habit, and started clamping a sheet. Machines were, mine settle. He watched me measure twice before drilling. So, he said over the noise. What is it? Let's say someone is planning a public demonstration to test my feelings, I answered. Let's say it involves witnesses and phones. Cute, he said. Like a proposal, but worse. Exactly. What's the play? I heard them staging lines, I said. I'm not supposed to know. Tonight they'll try it. They think I'll panic and pay for something. Marcus snorted. They picked the wrong saint. I tightened the clamp. I'm not a saint. I'm just done being someone's footage. He nodded. So what do you need? Clear exit, I said. Logistics. If it happens, I take my things, I change my access. I control my money. I make 0 speeches. I'm not staying to negotiate. You moving out? I'll give myself the option, I said. I already packed enough to sleep elsewhere. I'll transfer the utilities I cover back to me and cancel anything that ties me to her schedule. Good, Marcus said. Call me if you want a hand. We can move a couch after dinner. No need tonight. I'm not hauling furniture. Just papers, tools, clothes. The rest can wait. He watched me line up the next cut. You going to call her out? Only if they press the button, I said. If she does it, I'm calm. I accept, I exit. If they push, I explain exactly what I heard and when. No raised voice. No theater. Marcus grinned. You're cold. Warm never worked, I said. I tried warm last month. It got translated as permission. You want me nearby? Stay by your grill, I said. I can do basic moves without a wingman. He wiped his hands. You're not worried she'll spin it later? She will, I said. I'll speak once, clearly, and leave. We finished the cut. Around lunch, a familiar scent moved through the doorway. Miranda, soft steps on concrete, carrying a brown bag like a peace treaty. She offered a cautious smile. I brought you something. Marcus shot me a look and retreated to the back like a man who understands when to be furniture. Miranda set the bag on the workbench. It's the sandwich you like, she said. I know you forget to eat when you're buried in projects. I leaned on the bench. Appreciated. I was abrupt earlier, she said. I want a night to be fun. Fun is a strong word. She tried to laugh. Pleasant, at least. What changed between you're exhausting and let's be pleasant? She fidgeted with a loose thread on her sleeve. I don't like when we feel off. It rattles me. Then don't rattle us, I said. She nodded, eyes shining a little too quick. For what it's worth, I told the girls to leave the heavy talk for another day. We can just hang. Good, I said, and let it sit. She glanced at the shop floor. The place looks intense. You sure you're okay? I'm fine. She reached into her tote to pull out napkins, and a small foldable tripod clinked against a water bottle. She froze half a second, then palmed it deeper like she was moving a pen. New hobby? I asked mild. Oh, she said too quickly. Tessa asked me to hold something for her. I nodded. Of course. She recoiled from my tone like it had teeth. Do you want me there tonight or not, Nate? You can be wherever you like, I replied. I'll be there an hour. She took a breath, forced a smile. I'll see you at 7. Drive safe. She left behind the sandwich and a scent of carefully staged calm. Marcus reemerged, eyebrows climbing. He tapped the bag. That's either kindness or bait. It's both, I said. But I eat anyway. We shared the sandwich. I changed my phone settings. I moved a few essential contacts from our shared cloud to my separate backup. I also moved the envelope of cash I kept in our safe into my inner jacket pocket. Not because I was hiding, but because I was done being surprised. Before closing up, I texted Roy, the bartender who runs the rooftop as tight as a ship. Put my tabs separate. Heads up, I'm not in the mood for surprise videos. He responded with a single thumbs up, and it got you. The rooftop always pulls the same crowd, everyone pretending they're not watching everyone else. The elevator doors opened to fairy lights, music, and a wind that smelled like rain had second thoughts. Beth waved the moment I stepped out. She had a dress that said, responsible with plans to become irresponsible. Jade stood next to her in a color people choose when they want to be noticed. Tessa hovered, phone in her palm like an extra finger. Miranda's posture was perfect, chin up, smile light. She looked like someone who had rehearsed her own face. Finally, Jade announced, loud enough for the nearest tables to hear. We were placing bets. On what? I replied. On whether you'd show it all. Always nice to walk into faith, I said. Beth leaned in for a cheek kiss, then glanced behind me. Just you. Separate cars, I said. We have different bedtimes. Beth's smile stiffened. Tessa lifted her phone and then set it down quick, a reflex interrupted. Roy popped up like he can smell tension. Beer. Water to start, I told him. And my tab stands alone. Already set, he said, and slipped away. We took a corner high top. The lights of the city made everyone look like a better version of themselves, for a minute at least. Jade tapped her nails on the table. Tessa watched the door. Beth told a quick story about her manager. Miranda laughed in the right places, hand on my forearm a second too long, then gone, calculated. Small talk died fast. It always does when a group is waiting for their planned event. I took in the angles. Beth's toed under the stool, half open. Tessa's camera app preloaded but dim. Jade's phone set inside a highball glass, lens aimed outward, pretending to be a coaster. And Miranda, checking the time on her screen, as if there were a script. The first drinks came. A trio of women I didn't know drifted close, then pretended to look at the skyline. Witnesses. Jade straightened. Miranda placed her glass down with care, and I could hear the switch flip inside her. I need to bring something up, she said, just loud enough to carry. Do you? I replied. We've been in a loop, she began, her voice quivering one notch. And I can't be the only one trying to make this work. Jade glanced at Beth. Beth gave a tiny nod. Tessa's thumb hovered above the screen. I looked at Miranda and let my face be what it was, neutral, not unkind, not eager. She pressed on. I show up for you, Nate. I invite you into my life. I make time, and you keep walls up. It feels like you're not willing to step up. It hurts. I hear you, I said. Jade jumped into her line like she'd won a raffle. If you loved her, you'd prove it. Right now? Not tomorrow. Not after thinking. Right now. Tessa's phone, I swear, twitched. Miranda's lip trembled, exactly like she'd practiced. I'm just asking for something. Effort. A sign. You want a sign? I said. Okay. She blinked hopefully. I sign off, I told her. The table froze. The city kept moving. Roy poured a drink down the bar with the calm of a man who's seen every format of human drama. What? Miranda whispered. You're asking for a public demonstration, I said. You're asking me to panic, to pay, to compete with a camera. That's not love, Miranda. That's a stage. I don't audition. Jade scoffed. He's dodging. No. I answered, eyes on Miranda. You rehearsed this. You planned witnesses. You put phones on the table. I heard it all in our living room this morning. The lines, the timing, even the part where I'm supposed to buy my way back into your good graces. You picked the wrong man to treat like a project. Beth's face drained. Tessa's thumb fell. Jade went pale, then red, then masked it with a laugh. You're paranoid. Miranda, I said, still only watching her. If you want out, take it. You don't need to manufacture a cold open. Say it plainly, and I'll make it easy. She stared at me, shock giving way to calculation. This is not what I meant. I accept, I replied. No scene. No debate. We're done. People around us were trying not to stare. That's the thing about public drama. It eats the air. Roy took 2 steps closer, slow, like a referee who doesn't need to blow the whistle yet. Miranda reached out toward me, half a move, then pulled back. Nate, You're twisting. You staged a test, I said. You wanted to force a gesture you could clip and keep. You can have the moment. It just won't be the one you planned. I took my wallet, set my part of the tab in cash. Roy, we're square. We're square, he said, voice low. I stood. Chair legs scraped. The small kind of thunder people never forget. I looked at Miranda one last time. Not angry, just finished. I meant what I said earlier today. If phones go up, I go down the elevator. Now I'm adding one thing. I don't negotiate with people who try to embarrass me for points. She whispered, Raw, now you're leaving? Yes. Can we talk privately? She asked, voice wobbling like a bridge. Not here. Outside, I said. 2 minutes. I walked away, and the rooftop bent backward to watch. Behind me, I heard Beth hiss to Jade. You promised he wouldn't walk. Jade muttered something sharp. Tessa closed her camera app like it burned. The hallway outside the rooftop was concrete and quiet. The city hum seeped through the glass, and the elevator numbers slid lazy. Miranda came out alone, steps clipped. She stopped 3 feet from me, shoulders squared. For once, no audience. She tried a small smile that didn't reach her eyes. Let's not be ridiculous. We're past ridiculous. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said quickly. It was supposed to be a conversation starter. That wasn't conversation, I replied. That was a trap with lighting. She swallowed. I panicked because you've been distant. I wanted you to show me I matter. I showed you, I said. I showed up when your father was sick. I showed up when your car wouldn't start at 5 a.m. I show up quietly. That never makes the clip. Her eyes glistened again. The second illusion, this time syrup thick. I'm sorry, she whispered. I got scared, and the girls got into my head. I told them to stop, but they pushed. Your friends didn't download the tripod into your bag, I said. You did. She bit her lip. It's over a stupid video. Can you not throw us away over one mistake? I pulled my keyring out. I took off her spare and held it up. Keys. She startled. You can't be serious. I am. Give me mine. You'll get your things back clean. I'll box them. Box my what? Are you moving? I'm leaving the apartment tonight, I said. I'll sleep somewhere else. I'll pick up my tools, files, and clothes this week. You can keep the couch. I don't need it. Her face flushed. You're making this huge. Nobody leaves over a spat. Spats don't involve ring lights, I said. The elevator dinged. Roy stepped out, then paused when he saw us, pretending to check a light fixture. He's good at being a human camera that chooses not to record. Miranda glanced at him, then leaned in, voice softer than I'd heard in weeks. Please don't do this. I'll delete everything. I'll tell them to back off. You'll what? I'll take the trip off the table. I'll stop pushing. Just don't walk. That's not how this works, I said. You don't get to gamble respect and then bet my patience to cover losses. Her mouth hardened. So what, you win? You get to make me look awful in front of everyone. I didn't tell anyone what you did, I replied. You did, by inviting half the room to watch you try to make me earn you. She laughed once, empty. You're unbelievable. I'm consistent, I said. I told you an hour. I told you no cameras. I told you separate checks. You pushed anyway. I was trying to keep us alive. You were trying to win me like a contest. Roy finally spoke, gentle but firm. Phones were up, Miranda? He called it before he walked in. She flinched at that. She dug in her purse, pulled out my spare key with a frustrated yank, and pressed it into my palm. You're not the only one who can leave. I know. I'm not chasing, she said. You just did, I answered. She looked at my face, searching for a door that wasn't there. When she found none, she turned, squared her shoulders, and walked back to the party. Roy watched her go, then glanced at me. You good? He asked. I'm in motion. You want me to run interference if they follow you? No need. He nodded. For what it's worth, you did the clean version. I know only one way, I said. I took the stairs down slow. On the second landing, my phone buzzed. Marcus, well? I texted back. It broke. I'll be by in 20 to grab the spare dolly. He replied with a thumbs up and a knew it. I didn't go home for a scene. I went home to work. I parked in the alley, under the light that flickers. Inside, the apartment had the off-balance quiet of a place waiting for someone's voice to change its temperature. I didn't plan to give it one. I pulled empty boxes from the hall closet, set them on the table, and started with what mattered. Tools, files, one shelf of clothes, one drawer of toiletries. No drama, no digging through memories. Only essentials. 15 minutes in, the neighbor, Mr. Alvarez, knocked. He's in his 70s, retired electrician, greets everyone like he's been waiting to introduce himself. Nate, he said, seeing the boxes. You moving or just practicing for a fire drill? Moving enough, I said. He squinted. You need a hand? I got a dolly that's older than me. I'm good, thank you. He nodded at the open door. The young lady used to bring in a lot of shopping bags. She likes events, I said. And you like leaving them, he said with a little smile. I always said, two types of people. Those who go to the party for the room. Those who go for the mirror. I'm choosing a different room. Smart. His smile faded, honest concern replacing it. You okay? I don't need okay, I said. I need done. He let out a small laugh. That's a new one. Good luck, son. He left me to it. I labeled each box like I label everything. I took my passports, my insurance folder, the spare checkbook, and the envelope I usually leave in the safe. I took the photos I liked because they were honest. No angles, no poses, just two people laughing at something off camera. Those are rare, and they hurt the most when you realize what they didn't capture. At 9:30, the front door opened. Miranda stepped in, heels in her hand, mascara neat. That told me she'd stopped in the bathroom upstairs to make her face say fine for the hallway. She looked at the boxes. So you're serious? I am. She dropped her keys in the bowl with a sharp clink. This is pathetic. You plan to humiliate me in public, I said. Packing quietly is the opposite of pathetic. You're overreacting. I'm reacting exactly to scale. She threw her toad on the counter. What do you want? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Happy. I don't need you to say the word. I answered. I needed you not to do the thing. What if I tell everyone it was a misunderstanding? She said, desperate speed creeping in. What if I delete the group chat? I don't need you to rewrite it. I need you away from me. She folded her arms, chin jutting. You act like you're above drama, but you love this. You love feeling like the rational one while I look unhinged. I don't love any of this, I said. I love respect. I go where it lives. You will miss me, she warned low. I'll miss who I thought you were, I said. Not this. She moved closer, less performance now, more raw bargaining. We were talking about moving in together deeper. We were talking about holidays, plans. You're walking away from all of that because of one bad night. This wasn't one night, I said. This was weeks of cold, then jokes at my expense, then ignoring what I asked for, then tonight. It's a line, not a dot. You're so clinical, she spat. I'm precise, I said. She looked at the boxes again, at the empty space on the shelf where my files had Saturday. Where are you going? Temporary place over the shop, I said. Then we'll see. She shook her head. I told you I would delete it. That doesn't unstage it. I can fix this, she insisted. Just tell me what to do. Stop playing games, I said. But I'm not staying to watch. The hallway light flickered again. Mr. Alvarez's door opened and closed quietly, like even the building was listening. Miranda's voice dropped to a whisper edged with temper. If you walk, I will own the story. You'll be the man who bailed on a woman trying to save them. I met her eyes. Or I'll be the man who refused to dance on command. Either way, I'll be the man who left. She went still. You won't even fight. You're not worth a fight, I said. You were worth a life. You opted for a clip. She stared at me, and in that moment I could see it click. The game stopped being fun when the ball didn't come back. She reached for something. Rage, softness, whichever might work. She tried a third path. I made dinner, she blurted. It's in the fridge. Your favorite. I thought we'd eat after the rooftop and watch something. That's sweet, I said. Give it to a friend. You're cruel. I'm accurate. I taped the last box. I carried 2 down to the truck. When I returned for the third, she stood in my path. Last chance, she said. Not for me. I stepped around her. At the door, I paused. I'll come tomorrow noon for the rest. If you're here, be decent. If you're not, I'll still finish. She didn't answer. Downstairs, Mr. Alvarez held the door for me. That looked like a point of no return, he said. It was. You want me to keep an eye tonight? I'd appreciate that. Consider it done. He patted my arm with the comfort of a stranger who's seen every version of neighbors leaving each other. I drove to the shop. Marcus met me at the back. She try for a round 2? He asked. She tried 3 rounds. I said. Apology, sweetness, threat. What did you pick? None. He grinned. This is why I like you. You don't play baseball with feelings. I don't play at all, I said. He handed me a spare pillow and a roll of trash bags. Guest suite, he deadpanned. I slept on a couch that smells like sawdust and decisions. I slept easy. At 11:59, I parked in our spot one last time. The sun made the building look nicer than it deserved. I took the keys and boxes and went up. Miranda was home. She had a mug in her hand and the news on low, like a set dressing. She looked like she hadn't slept. "Here we are," she said. "Here we are. I thought you might cool off. I thought you might think." She set the mug down. "I did. And I realized you're punishing me because I didn't do relationships the way you like. You want private, quiet, old school. I want vibrancy. That's not wrong. You can have vibrancy without humiliating the person you claim to care about," I said. "You chose the shortcut." She swallowed. "I can learn." "You could have learned before you hired an audience," I said, then caught myself. I said I wouldn't do speeches. I won't. I packed the last of my shirts, my toolbox, 3 books I actually reread, and a framed map of a hiking trail no one visits. Miranda watched like a guard who can't stop an escape. "I called my mom," she said suddenly, like it might be a spell. "She thinks you're being stubborn. Your mom is not who I date." I told her it was a misunderstanding, she continued. That my friends went overboard. She said the decent thing is to forgive and reset. "Then do the decent thing," I said. "Forgive yourself and reset without me." She laughed without joy. "You're good at closing doors. I'm good at closing the right ones." I stood. The apartment looked wrong, like a stage after a show ends. Glitter on the floor, lights too bright. She tracked me to the door. "You're really going." "I'm not trying to scare you into behavior," I said. "I'm leaving because the behavior showed me what I needed." "I liked our mornings," she whispered. "Mine will be better." She stiffened. "Don't be smug." "I'm honest," I said. "This place drained me. I can't run on empty for your next big moment." In the hall, she followed. "What are you going to tell people?" "The truth," I said. "You staged a test I didn't sign up for. I declined to participate. We ended it. You'll make me look bad." "You did that." She went quiet, then tried one last card. "You promised me we'd build a life." "I meant it," I said. "You built a stage." "Nate." I stopped. She stood there barefoot, mug in hand like a shield she'd forgotten she was holding. There was a second where I pitied her. Then I remembered the morning rehearsal. "This is the last line," I told her. "You wanted me to prove love in public. I'll prove something else instead. I respect myself." Her eyes flashed. "You'll regret this." "No," I said. "You'll repeat it with someone else until someone else leaves too. Or you'll learn. That part isn't my concern." I turned, stepped out, and didn't look back. A few months later, my mornings were early and simple. The shop moved into a bigger unit. I hired a second pair of hands. Marcus stopped calling my coffee a complaint. I rented a small townhouse with a porch that needed paint and a garage that made me feel wealthy. There was no stage in it. Only tools, quiet, and a couch I chose. On Saturdays, I met a friend group at a park where nobody tried to film anybody. That's where I met Erin. She's not a savior or a prize. She's a person who asks clean questions and likes the no-frills diner 2 blocks down. We make plans and keep them. She laughs without aiming it at the room. When I say, "No cameras," she says, "Why would I?" I heard through the grapevine that Miranda's channel dried up for a while and then came back with softer captions about lessons. Half the friend group drifted. Beth moved in with someone who hates rooftop nights. Jade tried a short-lived series about testing partners and got roasted in her own comments. Tessa started a photography class and got quiet, in a good way. Sometimes I pass our old building on a delivery run. Mr. Alvarez waves like he does for everyone. Last week he yelled from the stairs, "The new guy carries more shopping bags than the last one." I smiled and told him to invest in a bigger dolly. At night, on the porch, Aaron reads and I sand a piece of walnut for a table commission. Life is ridiculously straightforward when you cut out everything that makes it crooked. People think leaving is loud. Sometimes it's the quietest, cleanest thing you do. I didn't get the big romantic scene. I got something better. I got to keep my self-respect and my time. Those are expensive, and I don't bargain them off for applause. The last thing I told Miranda, the thing I stand by, is the only closing line I needed. I don't perform to keep a seat at my own table. And then I got up and built a new one.